my announcements tab to load. There we go. Oops. Oops. That'll work.
I don't think anyone's talking, Lane. I think we're just vibing with the music. Aaron is finishing.
I just
Oh,
realized
go
I
ahead.
muted on the fucking stream, but I was talking to you, so that worked out. But yeah, I'm trying to make mac and cheese and get my life together.
Been doing a great job with it.
Yeah,
Frankly.
I've definitely really got my shit together.
Looks like they're readying up in chat, so how close are we to finished mac and cheese?
Well, luckily my wonderful wife is finishing the mac and cheese for me. The last couple
She's
of
too
steps.
kind.
While I sit here and we get the real treat though of neither team wanting to use pro draft. So as soon as they're
Oh
ready to
boy.
go, we're right into the draft. So that's exciting.
We get to save 5 to 6 minutes of our lives.
But it's not just 5 to 6 minutes of our lives once. It's up to 3 times. Like that's up to 15 to 18 minutes.
True. Yeah, I like that. You're always looking on the bright side there.
Yeah. A little bit, yeah. Okay. There's no coaches here, which is kind of weird. It's especially weird given our opponents tonight. But
Yeah, why is that? Who's our opponents tonight?
our opponents tonight are Stevens University Esports, which
Uh-huh.
usually the university comes with like a coach, or they have somebody that acts like a coach. Sometimes it's just someone like Prodigium who just pretends to coach, but you know, by his own admission.
Why you gotta call him out like that, man? Come on. I don't know if the math is correct, but I'm gonna have to take Brady's word for it, in that, no pro draft, very much a good thing.
Unfortunately, what doesn't save us minutes is when we're just sitting in lobby waiting for one of the teams to ready up. As we're waiting
They're
for
not R
RRTM
yet.
actually, so I can't flame too much because it's our lads, it's our team, and they're you know,
Above flame?
I don't know that they're above flame, but I'm like beholden to them.
Uh-huh. Okay. So you feel a little bit worse about flaming them. I think that's understandable.
Not like a whole lot, but a little bit at least.
What about when X-Craze is flaming us in Discord? Then is it okay to flame them?
Yeah, so if it's counter flame, I think it's fair game. But
Okay, okay.
I'm sure that's how Riot views it as well.
Mm.
Oh, there's an R. There's a big R. We hit them with the capital R after they hit us with the lowercase r. So I think we're just super ready. And
We always have to one up, right?
Yeah, Tendies is the one in charge, so he's got to hit the start game button. But he might be waiting for them to like double R, which, you know, is very meta, right? You have to make sure that you're in charge of the on you to start. There we go. So here we go, the Battle of the Birds. We actually have a very bird-themed division this time, but yeah, week number 4 of Upsurge Minor League. Return of the Middlesticks taking on Stevens Esports, the Ducks. Look at their little duck. He's kind of cute. You know, he's not like a Canada goose, the spawn of Satan.
He looks like the type of duck that would be preferred to call a mallard. He looks like he would be very picky about that.
So it's kind of weird with his like nostril. It just looks like his whole beak is just like a really big nose. Like you could detach the whole thing.
Yeah? You think so?
I can't not see it, honestly. But yeah, our team comes in 1-2, unfortunately falling to Lightless Void Esports last week. Their logo's an eagle, to continue with the bird theme. But yeah, 1-2, need a win in the next 2 games to at least get a tiebreak for playoffs, and ideally 2 wins. Unfortunately, standing in their way, Stevens Esports 3-0 on the year. They've looked pretty good so far as a team that is undefeated should be.
Yeah, definitely. Lightless Void has an eagle as their mascot?
Yes.
I failed to see the connection. But
I don't know. They were flaming me on Twitter. I flamed them back. It was great. Not
The
like a lot.
counterclaim
Yeah.
again. Okay, okay.
Anyway, there's a draft that's happening in the background right now. So we got Irelia and Riven taken away from Tendy, Seraphine taken away from either Panda or Firelight, probably both. And the counterbans are Lulu, Vladimir, and Mal the Rock Phydamus. Tristana picked up as the first pick. Jinx, Diana going to be the counter. Diana, the new hotness in the jungle.
Yeah, Diana with the buffs can clear pretty quickly, does quite a bit of damage, is pretty good at skirmishing, so definitely picked up a lot of recent play. And then both AD carries rather, going for the hyper carries, the scaling ability there. Is always going to be interesting. Camille being the takeaway means that we're kind of down the list as far as Tendy's champions goes, and Jax being the counter, I think makes a lot of sense. It's a pretty good matchup into the Camille in a 1v1, as well as scales really well, has a lot of split pushing potential. I think that that's a great pickup here.
That's something you've been calling for a couple of weeks now, is for him to put the Jax back into the rotation. And that's exciting to see. I'm going to go on this tangent for just one opportunity because it's come up. Canada geese are just the worst fucking animals in the animal kingdom. My Snapchat for a while was devoted to just me flipping them off whenever I saw them on campus.
Yeah.
And they're disgusting. They shit everywhere. They don't, like, most animals will run away or like make a path if you're trying to get through them. No, they don't give a fuck. They'll just honk at you and try to bite you. They were very common at CSU. They'd like flood the road basically, and so you'd be late to class because there's just a fuck ton of geese in the way, and you can't like kick them, you can't move through them, or otherwise they just get mad and bite at you. They're the worst. They're the worst fucking animals, and they're disgusting and dirty. And oh my god. All right.
That's okay. It's okay. You're in a safe place. The Canada geese can't get you here.
Oriana, Yone, Galio, and Rel have been taken away, and we're hovering Yumi. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, Yumi
Oh, the
would be
Nami.
pretty good with the fighter, but Nami also pretty safe, pretty strong champion that can buff up the hyper carry Jinx. So I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
A pretty strong
Pandanda
laning
Chell.
phase as well. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, Pandanda Chell's making her debut for Return of the Middlesticks. Prodigium unfortunately ranked out of UML. He hit 50 LP Masters and is no longer eligible to play on our team. So, welcome the new blood support. She's been duoing with X-Craze a little bit, so hopefully they have a little bit of inbuilt synergy. I don't think the team has practiced as 5 altogether, so this might be a new experience that they're having right now. But Victor and Leona going to be the lock-ins for Stevens.
Yeah, which means there is a very aggressive bottom lane there on the side of Stevens with the Tristana Leona. Very strong in the early game. And then Ari the pickup. Ari Victor. When was the last time we saw an Ari Victor matchup?
I'm pretty sure, like... I don't know. I was going to say maybe in LEC this split, because there were a handful of Aris, but Ari was the counter to Oriana, not to Victor.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe not. These are some very fighty team comps, though. A lot of damage across the board, not a whole lot of like tankiness, even kind of, I don't want to say lacking initiation, because you definitely have Skarner and Leona on one side, but it's going to be a lot of 2v2s and 3v3s, I think, across the map.
Definitely, which I think is what our team really is hoping for, with the Diana, with the Jax, hoping for more of a skirmishy gameplay, because I think once everyone ends up grouping up, there's a little bit more consistent crowd control on the side of Stevens, a little bit more tankiness, which usually fares pretty well in actual team fights. So, if we get to that point in the game, it feels like Stevens might have a little bit of an advantage there.
What am I supposed to read? Fun fact, the giant Canada goose's favorite snack is the Poa parantis, also known as Kentucky bluegrass, which is the highest density grown agricultural crop in the United States, outpacing corn and wheat combined. It's the only thing I can see. I hope that that's what I was supposed to read. Anyway, memes aside, thank you for joining us. This has been a very non-serious introduction to what is actually a relatively serious game for both teams. Stevens, I believe, secures first seed with a win, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken. I haven't like scrutinized these standings that carefully. Um,
I think setting the stakes as high as possible
yeah,
would mean that we have to go with that. They absolutely secure first place with the win here.
no, they definitely do because they'll be on 4-0, and Lightless Void is the only other team at 2-1 right now. Uh, and they beat them head to head, so they'll have that tiebreaker. They secure first place with a win. I feel pretty solid about that. For Return of the Middlesticks, they need a win right now. They're in the mush. They're in the soup, is the LCS term that they all hate.
Mhm.
But there's 4 teams tied at 1 and 2 right now, and you don't want to be 2 and 3, next week at the end of next week, because then there's a possibility that there's still a 4-way tiebreaker there. There's still, a whole bunch of nonsense, and then you're on the outside looking in. So if you get the 2 wins, you're in. You don't have to worry about it. No sweat. But just one, and it's worrying. So
Yeah, definitely. How many teams make it through?
4 out of 6. So
My God. So yeah, I got to pick up at least one win, hopefully two in the next couple weeks. And this one, I know after coming off of a couple losses, it would be a good statement win, I think, to take down the first place team in your division and really give you some confidence coming into the end of the season here.
yeah, I realized I forgot to post on Twitter, so I'm gonna do that right now. I don't know why I needed to announce that, but just I'm gonna be slightly quiet here for a second while I type things on my phone.
Yeah, I mean, you just want to bring it up to plug the Twitter. If you guys aren't following, do you follow on Twitter?
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
yeah. There's a follow button.
I wasn't sure if it was called something else. I don't actively use Twitter. Um, but if you do, you should go follow the Rodham Twitter because Maris tweets funny stuff sometimes. And apparently gets into flame fights with opposing
Yeah.
esport teams,
It
which
was
is...
like very mild. Like the other team, they go pretty hard. Lightless Void does with
Uh-huh.
their Twitter. So
I
you gotta
feel
let them
like
know that we're not a social media pushover at least.
I feel like you're downplaying it when really you should be hyping it up as, sort of the draw to the Twitter. Um, you get to see all the drama. People
Oh
love drama.
yeah, I flamed the fuck out of GSM on April Fool's Day, so you can
Oh,
you can sign in for that, I guess.
yeah, that was something. Either way, we're coming to the game here.
Oh no, are we really here? Okay, nice. It actually loaded. I didn't set up a scoreboard. That's high quality production. I really need to get like a production assistant or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what their abbreviation would be for Stevenson Esports or Stevens Esports.
And you could probably do just like SEU, SE, SUE, S.
I think S is relatively safe.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rest necessarily there.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Well, while you're doing that, we're watching the game. Looks like both teams going for a pretty safe start here, just sort of the normal fan out. Um, no one wanting to do anything too crazy yet in this game. Just feeling each other out and seeing where people decide to go. So a little bit of a quiet period here. That said, if we're looking at matchups, anytime that there is a top lane double melee carry matchup, you have to feel like it's gonna be a pretty big focal point, especially for ROTM, who notoriously very much likes to get tendies a lead, right?
mhm.
And in a pretty swingy matchup like this, any sort of kill that Jax gets early can be completely massive for shutting down Camille. I like to see Loker starting on the side opposite from tendies and assumedly pathing up there. So 2 round on the side of Stevens, also starting on the bot side. So we might see a bit of a skirmish there, bit of a tussle in a couple minutes in the top lane.
Yeah. I don't I don't actually have anything else to add on to that. I'm just taking a quick look across some of these runes as Tendies goes for the Counter-Strike at level 1, looking for that trade as Antigua navigates that pretty well. That can be kind of dangerous, the level 1 Jax with the Counter-Strike up. Kind of interesting is Heoger did opt for the Hail of Blades on Tristana, which is the earlier game option. You can jump in with the explosive shot and really pop somebody. And you can see they even hit level 2 early. Tendy sits level 2 in the top lane, gets a stun, and he'll walk out. Um, but
Ooh.
Sour Candy still going in. X-Craze low. The explosive shot not going to be able to take him down as Panda just goes ahead and hits him up with a couple of auto attacks, trading a little bit back. But um, yeah, kind of interesting. The shove in top lane right now for Tendy's pretty hard, but matched equally by Heuger and Sour Candy in the bottom lane. Good tactical sweep, though, from Antika. Oh, walk back into stun range. All right, well, I'm hyping this up. This is nothing.
But no, Tendies is trading very aggressively, and we'll see if he's able to get that crashed in before Skarner finishes that blue buff. Looks like he is. He's going to be able to get the cheater recall as well, so very well avoiding the potential timer for the gank from the Skarner. And getting the early recall means he's going to be up in an item. You'd assume to see like a Doran's Blade right here. Yep, there we go. And when he's walking back to lane, he's going to have his jungler on the same side of the map, so should be pretty safe. And actually, 2-round had peeked out into the river there to get an eye on the crab, and the double prio from the solo lanes of ROTM means that Loker's going to be able to be the one to secure that one. So feel pretty good about himself. Might even stick around here on the top side as Camille, with that wave crash, is going to be slow pushing into Tendies. Could be a potential gank, but looks like instead we're just trying to double crab.
Yeah, Tendy's still continuing to trade against Antika up in the top lane. I just wanted to talk a little bit. Oh, well, never mind. Okay. I think we're chill. There's a bunch of people collapsing for this bottom Scuttle Crab. It's turning into a full 4v4, but Antika gets flashed on. The first blood for Tendies up in the top lane. Flash away from Lokers. He did have to get away from the crab, and it looks like Stevens will be able to secure this one on the bottom side, just thanks to some of the level advantages, particularly the early run from the bottom lane, though, helping them out.
Yeah, the Leona Tristana combination very strong in the early game. It's hard for RTM's bottom lane to really match them effectively. So good job there by Stevens to be able to secure that. But on the other side of the map, all off of really good wave control, Tendies was able to pick up the solo kill. And again, in a matchup that swings this hard, it's really good for RTM to be able to see that kill in the early game. And
Yeah,
maybe a
Antika.
little bit careless from
Sorry, I was
Antique.
gonna say Antika seems to know the matchup a little bit. The one hidden like Camille tech that you can use to get ahead in this matchup is that your counter strike or your wall dash stun is won't allow Jax to reactivate counter strike. So if you hit him while he's counter striking, you can sometimes hit him, stun him, and then walk out of the range. I just wanted to highlight that little interaction because I actually know something about a mechanic in the game, which is weird. But yeah, Firelight trading pretty heavily with number 2 Ginger up in the mid lane.
Yeah, and this is so scary. Sour Candy. Oh,
Oh,
channeling?
Hex Flash in there on top of X-Craze. A lot of stuns going down. That's a great bubble, though, from Chels. Actually preventing the engage from Heoger. He couldn't get in with the rocket jump, and they'll at least be able to survive for the time being. X-Craze almost has his cleanse back up. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, pretty low health bars for Firelight and Ginger.
Yeah, and it looks like Ginger's going to be able to take the recall, so a little bit of the pressure there is going to dissipate. As
Tendies hits level 6, so he's got that extra damage on his couple of auto attacks. Wall dive in from Antika. I don't think that he really wants that. Does he have the jump strike? It's not quite up in time, but it's still a really good trade for Tendies.
Yeah, it felt like Antika felt the need to trade back in, otherwise they just sort of lose the lane. And took quite a bit of damage for doing it. And Tendies with the Vamp Scepter is just so healthy now. Might be pressuring the dive, but 2-round is in the area, so it is a little bit dangerous. Oh.
Oh, Tendies still maybe looking for it. The shield coming up. Gonna use the Hextech ultimatum. They're in. 2-round is only level 5. Antika. Oh, gets body blocked by the Skarner, and Antika gets the kill. Well, actually, 2-round gets the kill. Little over aggression there from Tendies, but the Dragon goes to ROTM, and now they might be looking mid. Although number 2 Ginger playing relatively cautiously, and it doesn't look like Chels and Loker will be able to find a whole lot
They
other
might
than
find
maybe
a
some jungle
Leona.
camps.
Oh, Looker's
Oh,
kind of getting collapsed on here.
oh,
Oh.
uses uh, the dash. I honestly don't know it. Lunar Rush, uh, at the Victor in order to get over the gravity field. So that was really nice. Kind of a long cooldown, but well worth it.
Yeah, definitely. It was a little bit scary, kind of got sandwiched there, but definitely able to get out. But that play in the top lane, really well done by 2Round to know to be in the right place at the right time to counter that dive, because otherwise that was a very dead Camille.
Ooh, the Flame Chomper is just not quite in the right position there, but good zap, turning it back onto Hayoger. Does he have vision in the bush? Doesn't look like it to actually turn that one around, and now support and jungler hanging around. Uh, Sour Candy walking aggressively forward. They're going to get the jump onto him. Loker here looking for the turn. Not quite enough damage, though, with the ultimate. And the flash away from Hayoger means that they'll get the kill onto X-Craze and get out safely. Meanwhile, Tendies and Antika continuing to trade in the top lane, just bonking him down with the staff. Run into his jungler, though, has to be careful. 2Round has the Impale available, even pops the Predator just to make sure that Antika can get out.
Now, once again, 2Round in the right place at the right time. That play in the bottom lane, it was a bait there trying to get the bot lane of Stevens to engage just a little bit too far so that Loker could turn it around, but he ended up using the Lunar Rush and didn't get the reset on it, so wasn't able to chase the Tristana down. So pretty unlucky turn of events there means that the bot lane that already was ahead is now even more so. 1-0-0 this Tristana up a complete pickaxe over the Jinx is very scary. If that lane wasn't already dangerous, it just became even more so for X-Craze and Panda.
So I'm kind of curious if you have any insight right now into priority junglers, right? Because in the draft, notably, didn't see Hecarim, didn't see Olaf, didn't see Udyr. Instead, we get Diana versus Skarner, and I know Morgana's also a priority jungler. I didn't know if like the buffs were or the nerfs were actually enough. We're not going to get to talk about it though. Hextech Ultimatum. Well, maybe we will. Never mind. Tendies is fine.
My understanding is that Hecarim still a pretty good champion. Udyr still a pretty good champion. It's just that with the buffs, Diana and Morgana just clear so quickly, and then Skarner's just, always going to be Skarner, right? He's always safe, competitive selection. Brings the pick, the CC, a little bit of tankiness. But
Uh,
yeah, no,
they're looking maybe to collapse on Loker. Oh, they do they know? This is really weird positioning if they don't know, but Loker is getting collapsed on right now by Ginger, and instead it's Chels who's going to pay for it, though, as Haoger is able to jump on him. Loker with the Moonfall, looking for number 2 Ginger, the Spirit Rush over the wall. The Charm lands from Firelight and will secure that kill. 1-for-1 as Haoger and Sour Candy still looking for it. Another Spirit Rush back out as Sour Candy was hanging around. Still no level 6 on the Leona.
Well, that was really well played there by Firelight to follow up on the engage there from Loker, flashed over the fat part of the red buff wall, and then got a cheeky little charm in. And it looked like Panda was actually collapsing to try and help out Loker in the jungle, and she ended up dying for her jungler's sins, so a little unlucky there. But at the end of the day, Loker gets the assist, gets some more farm. He's up 4 camps, now 5. So pretty significant CS lead there um, versus the Skarner. But Skarner is just actually always top lane.
Yeah, they know where the bread is buttered for ROTM. The Impale going to come down onto Tendies. Doesn't have Counter Strike, but has the Leap Strike still available. He's still standing in, looking to turn. Maybe he's got his Corrupting Pot ticking. He's got his Vamp Scepter to heal up just a little bit, but Antika's health bar is pretty girthy right now. I wouldn't necessarily fancy his chances right now.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to hit some of those minions, get a little bit of that health back to dissuade any sort of a dive. But 2Round definitely knows which lane he wants to play around. You saw Tendies get that one solo kill, and ever since then he's been hanging out up there, making sure that nothing else too funny is going to be going on. But even with that, Tendies has a pretty significant CS lead all on his own there, 25 CS in his favor. So, despite the camp, still doing pretty well in this matchup. You see Camille even had to finish the Tabi this early in the game. Never feels that good. Camille needs a lot of items to be useful, and if you're stopping off at the defensive boots, you're just a little sad.
Ooh, gets the stun on the wall. Still a lot of good exchanges, though, as Antika, I think, actually got a little bit better on that trade. But Tendies has his Grandmaster's Might coming up soon. Firelight not quite able to connect on the Charm as he was lying in wait in the bush.
That was still quite a bit of damage that came out. It makes me think that with the Ignite, if that Charm had landed, he probably would have been able to just instantly kill Ginger there, so.
Oh, but he'll
Yep,
get the Charm now, in with the Spirit Rush, and down goes the Ginger.
and we saw it
Oh, but
there.
the
Ooh.
the solar flare comes in. That was a really good tidal wave to help disengage. The bubble gonna land onto Sour Candy. They're looking to turn with the teleport from Tendies. Heal from Heojer as 2-round is here, looking to turn it back around. Tendies gets the double counter strike stun. Sour Candy is low. Tendies still fighting his way through. Loker collapsing from the side has the Moonfall, and here it comes. It's a triple kill. Well, it's 3 kills for ROTM on the dive. A double kill for X-Craze. What a play by ROTM.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how far ahead that Tristana is. A big Jax came down, was able to tank it up, keep him there just long enough for Loker to come in and get a massive ultimate there. And that's a pretty massive swing here in this bottom lane. It was looking doomed for the RTM bot lane, but with a little bit of help, now able to pick up those plates, able to pick up those kills, and this Jinx is no longer as scared as they were, a few minutes ago.
I just really like the amount of disengage that's coming out of the Nami and Jinx. Like, I was a little worried about how it would fare into the Leona, but it looks like it's just enough
Uh-oh.
CC to help him. Although Panda might be caught, and is indeed caught. The explosive shot will finish her off. Oh, the hop forward has the flash
Oh!
still. The heal with the ebb and flow. Flash from Heojer, stunned under tower, and Solar Candy is the one that has to take the kill. It was a lot expended, but I guess that's a positive result.
Sour Candy was trying so hard to give that kill over to Heojer, but Heojer wasn't able to get the last couple autos. Panda doing a great job of surviving as long as possible and ends up burning the flash of the Tristana, and Tristana doesn't even get the kill at the end of the day.
Oh, Predator coming
Uh-oh.
in. They're using the ultimatum into Impale combo. Stun though from Tendy's not quite able to turn it around, but in comes Firelight diving through with the Spirit Rush. Finds one, gets the root into the Charm. That's a lot of CC. I don't think can quite finish off 2-round, but Firelight zooms through for the trade. Loker though, gonna find 2-round.
Oh, he
Hits the
missed.
Moonfall. It's not quite enough damage as he wasn't able to get the reset on the Lunar Rush, but they'll eventually chase him down with the Crescent Strike. Meanwhile, Panda forced to clear mid-wave because everybody has roamed to top lane.
It was a little bit cheeky there. The roam up from Firelight just ulting straight past 2-round and able to pick up the return kills. So pretty good on ROTM to make sure that 2-round spending all that time top lane doesn't get punished or doesn't not get punished. Um, they punished it heckin' good.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at.
Something kind of quietly that's been happening though is our team's been stacking up those dragons, already 2 in their pockets, another one here in 2 minutes, and Kraken Slayer finished on X-Craze. You have the finished Everfrost as well on Firelight. There's a lot of big power spikes. Even the Nashers and the Blade of the Ruin King, nothing to be trifled with. And it feels like Stevens is just a touch behind. Everybody's still on components right now toward their first item.
Yeah, no, our team is very much power spiked right now. They are very strong at the moment across the board. I just item completion to components pretty much everywhere, other than mid and jungle, and a lot of that jungle is just because Skarner buys a very cheap item. I wanted to touch on it's actually very interesting that 2-round ended up opting for the Predator. Because the route of choice recently has been Phase Rush for Skarner. Predator not taking a whole lot. Usually you have enough speed, you
Oh
don't really
no.
need it, but it's
Sorry.
kind of an interesting tech choice there.
Yeah, Tendies actually gets that first tower up in the top lane. The second one's going to fall very
Uh-oh,
shortly as well.
teleport.
X-Craze has to be a little bit careful, though, as they get excited coming out. Teleport behind, though, as they're going to lock down the Nami inside the Hextech Ultimatum. X-Craze trying to flash away, uses the cleanse as well. Gets slowed, though, by the tactical sweep, and X-Craze left for dead. He'll be taken down. It's a big shutdown going to Antika. God, I'm having trouble talking. Panda's still in a little bit of trouble being chased down by the beef, but in comes Firelight looking for the turn. Maybe Panda's still staying alive. The ebb and flow.
Ooh.
In comes Loker looking for the turn now. A couple of autos coming down. 2-round going to potentially fall, but now still has the impale. Firelight forced out. Loker uses the moonfall, but it's a good buster shot away from Heoger, and he can't quite finish that one off. It's another big shutdown going to the Tristana. But meanwhile, Tendies has split push down the second tower in top lane.
Yeah, taking full advantage of the jungler not being there for once and just sort of flexing in this matchup that he's very far ahead in. But that fight there in the river was actually so close. A lot of people limping away with low health bars on the side of Stevens. Means that they are able to swing a little bit back in their favor, though. It's looking a little bit scary. Ooh, Firelight
Oh,
looking a little
Firelight
bit
playing with
far
fire,
up.
uses the Everfrost, doesn't have a dash left, but he's fine. The movement speed from the Foxfire and the little bit of healing that he gets is enough to get him out, but that might cost them the Dragon. Firelight's still sticking around. He's got like 450 health. That's
Yeah,
a...
a little bit greedy here, but with how much pressure
Oh, the
Tendy's
tidal wave
putting
coming
on the
over.
top lane.
Number 2, Ginger, maybe caught the Orb of Deception. Not quite enough damage. He has to dash away. It's stolen, though. The dragon's stolen by X-Craze. Well, what in the world happened there? Tendies, meanwhile, is on the inhibitor turret, just bashing away on Antika, and he'll jump strike back out. The map is in chaos. 2-round coming in, looking for the Impale, gonna stun up Panda into the Solar Flare. They still have more CC if they need it, but Firelight's enough to dissuade the engage. Loker gets the double dash through. He's Mario Kart looking for it, but the stuns are enough from Sour Candy to make sure that he can't collapse the teleport in from number 2, Ginger. But meanwhile, X-Craze has slid in. He's almost got his Super Mega Death Rocket available if he can get a couple low. Just continuing autos. Tendy's meanwhile going to jump onto Antika. The stun trying to get him out, but in comes 2-round. He's got Impale still. A lot of damage coming through, and Antika is able to take down Tendy's in the top lane.
Just so much fighting across the entire map there. And somehow in the middle of it all, X-Craze is the one who got the dragon. I assume was Zap because his ult was still available, so uh, somehow able to pick that up means RTM is now on sole point, despite not having any control of the dragon that time around. And they are very firmly in the driver's seat here. Ooh.
Maybe caught clearing the pink ward. He's on top of Heoger. He just uses the zap, the flash forward, though, able to take down Panda, but they'll return it back onto Sour Candy. It's another double kill for X-Craze, and they'll push in this mid lane. They should be able to take this tower relatively easily, although 2-round might have something to say about that. Firelight has just
Firelight
abandoned
left.
his ADC. The Impale coming through from 2-round is going to be enough to finish off X-Craze, but he gets the turret in the process.
It feels kind of bad. Firelight saw the waves coming in bottom and said, all right, I'm out. And X-Craze felt like he was a little bit safe there, but 2-round just sort of running him down there. Lets him know his place. He is still an ADC with low health. He's not allowed to hang out on his own.
Yeah, imagine playing an 80 carry in the current year.
Yeah, imagine. Imagine.
So Tendies is split pushed, 2.5 towers down. But the kills have fallen for Antika. He's actually pretty strong right now, considering. I mean, it's 2 completed items for Tendies, but you have the Trinity Force on Camille, so she's basically full build. Even into the Titanic, which is apparently the tech of choice. I don't exactly know why, but I know that it is the tech. Firelight looking for it, though, has the charm forward. Spirit Rush, Ignite is going to burn him down, and Firelight with another solo kill. He's unstoppable on the RE, 5-0-3. But maybe not for long, as in comes a lot of CC. Over the wall, though, Loker may be looking to turn. He's onto Heoger. The Moonfall is enough to finish him off, and Loker and Firelight turn that beautifully with the aid of Panda. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Tendy's still looking for a little bit more, although Loker continuing onwards as well. They're going to get this bottom tower for sure. They have the Rift Herald available as well, just to make sure that they can secure it and maybe even bash it into the next one. X-Craze is solo split pushing in mid lane, which is something I don't think he's allowed to do, but he's doing anyway.
No one's there to tell him no, so he's going to be able to get that turret, and RTM also picks up the bot turret here, breaking open the base, leaving a naked inhibitor now. Oh, another teleport from behind. Last time this went pretty well in Steven's favor.
Yeah, Antika looking for that collapse, has Hextech Ultimatum available, gets stunned a little bit on the wall, but on top of Panda, going to finish her off. Loker trying to get away, but the Impale is there to secure a double kill for the Camille, and they're finding counter picks, but it's a 7,000 gold lead, and the map play from ROTM has been fantastic so far this game.
Yeah, you get the kills, but what can you get off of it? All of your waves are shoved in. There are no big objectives up other than Baron, but you got the kills on the bottom side of the map. It's hard to run all the way up there, and RTM basically loses nothing but is gaining everything. Is just so far ahead at this point. Uh, feels like Stevens is just always behind the play, even when they try to make something proactive happen, like in the bottom lane. The members of our team were just there to counter engage Loker once again, just being in the right place, right time, and able to turn that fight around. Our team's just definitely making a statement here, very far ahead, playing very well. It feels.
Yeah, 40 seconds to go on this Cloud Soul spawn. Well, potential Cloud Soul spawn for ROTM. They're looking for a bait bush, which understandable given their team comp. Firelight gonna land the charm onto 2 round. That's a lot of damage. The zap forward. Firelight doesn't quite have enough to finish him off, and the SMD rocket isn't quite either. But they might have caught Sour Candy. They indeed have, as Tendies finishes him off. Firelight still dancing around in the middle. 2 round is very low, forced to smite his own Krugs as they're still looking for that engage. The Moonfall isn't quite enough, but the Orb of Deception is to finish off the Skarner. The bubble
Oh,
on the jump from Heoger, and Panda takes the kill.
what a nuts bubble there. Somehow finding the Tristana
Oh, Tendies
mid-jump.
is still
Tendies is
looking
still
for it.
fighting.
Antika jumps onto him with the Hextech ultimatum. More trade back as Tendies finishes him off and tanks through the death ray from Victor. What a bubble, though, from Panda.
Yeah, what a massive bubble. And somehow in the middle of that fight, Firelight was able to just zone 4 people and take 0 damage in return while the rest of the team was taking care of
He's got
Sour
25 stacks on
Candy.
a Magi's.
Yeah, no, he's a little strong. Just the tiny bit. And our team's actually starting up the bear, and there's still 1 member dead besides Stevens, but this is actually going down so quickly. I don't think anyone's going to be there to contest. Firelight running
Yes, Sour
interference.
Candy walking in. Firelight hits the charm, just trading it back.
Oh,
That Orb of
wow.
Deception damage is huge. And he's just going to dance around.
Oh!
2 round, tries to get onto him, does finally find the Impale into the... Oh! The kill with the Orb of Deception. He trades it back. That shouldn't have happened, but it's a shutdown for Heoger. He's been the recipient of a lot of shutdowns this game. Watch the Tristana if they can shut him down.
Oh,
Tendies
it's a
is
teleport.
teleporting in directly on top of him. Do they have the CC to lock him up? It doesn't look like they're going to be able to punish him for that.
It was a little bit scary there, as the rest of the team just wasn't quite in position to back him up there, but it's kind of crazy that Firelight gets impaled, gets pulled on top of the gravity well, and just doesn't quite get stunned quick enough, was somehow able to trade that kill back around and pick up Skarner.
And he's already tired of that. He just goes and buys a QSS, and now 1 less impale target. Unfortunately, there's still 3 very good ones on the side of ROTM, but at least Firelight isn't on the hit list now.
Definitely. It's a little bit scary when you're a lonely Diana having to go into melee range, into a Skarner. You assume that you're going to get insta-impaled. It makes these fights really difficult to play, though. Right now, it's just how far ahead Firelight is, as well as X-Craze. The onus isn't really on Loker to be the one to make the play, just because they're creating so much space and putting out so much damage from further away.
Yeah, the 4-1 set up now. Unfortunately, Tendies doesn't have his teleport as it was just used, so kind of a little risky on the 4-1, although Loker is not going to be part of the 4. He's just going to take some jungle camps for the time being. And they're looking for that engage. The Everfrost coming through has the QSS, though. Good CC locking him up. 2-round is in trouble, and he's taken down by the SMD rocket. The charm lands as well. A double kill for X-Craze as he's walking forward. Has to be a little bit careful.
Oh.
Heoger jumps in. The zap, not quite enough damage with that Orb of Deception. He's very low. We're centered on him, so I feel like he's about to die. In comes Tendies looking for it. Flashes forward, gets stunned up, but he's able to find the kill on the back end. He'll get the stun and try to walk out, but just stunned up inside that Chaos Storm. He'll eventually fall down. X-Craze is just wailing away on the Nexus turrets. Number 2, Ginger, fighting his way, trying to wave clear, but it's just him and his support looking for anything that they can. He's forced back into the fountain. The charm lands, and they'll take him down. We're looking at Loker. I don't know why, but ROTM should be able to finish off game number 1.
Yeah, they have the waves, they have the numbers advantage. Should be just a matter of getting those minions under the turret and then right-clicking it, and they should be able to pick this one up. But we just saw in that
Oh, they're still
Initial
looking.
engage.
Antika goes forward, looking for X-Craze, trying to finish that one off. Big damage coming down as Loker gets the zone off. They finish off the Camille on the back line, and now Sour Candy in trouble. Hayward jumps in. He's got a lot of damage through. Firelight finishes him off, though. Double kill for him. Everfrost on the fountain. And now we can safely say that ROTM will win game number 1 because it's going to end. I don't know if they kill 2-round or not because thank you, spectator. But,
Garner
yeah.
looks very dead. Very But no, off the back of a pretty massive lead there in the top lane from Tendies, he ended up pulling the jungler up there. And while the jungler's up there, our team did a good job of bringing back the lead bottom lane. And Firelight, of course, 10-1 and 9 was just massive in every single fight that they had after 15 minutes. Really well played there by our team. Felt like they were in control for most of the game, any point after like 7 minutes.
Yeah, so 1-0 RTM to match point, and a potential evening of the scoreline and handing Stevens their first loss of the season. So we'll take just a short break. I'm going to eat some mac and cheese, which will be great, and we'll be back with game number 2 as soon as they're ready for it.
Oh, looks like it started up. Are you still eating the macaroni?
Sorry, I was trying to
Probably
finish a
says
bite.
yes.
My bad. Um,
Oh, you're fine.
all right, welcome back. Game number 2, Return of the Middlesticks versus Stevens Esports. RTM with a really, I don't want to say commanding victory, but like they played the map super well in game number 1, and that allowed them to take it home. Um, so far, no change of bans. Teams have swapped sides, though. RTM on the blue side, Stevens Esports, which we learned is SIT, which is Stevens Institute of Technology. They're on the red side.
Yeah, no, game one was a little bit scary in the early game as Stevens had selected a very aggressive bottom lane and did a good job of converting that into a lead, but RTM did a good job of turning it back around there in the mid game, really stomping out the lead where Stevens had it, and then just sort of once they were in control, they didn't let go even for a second. So really well played there by RTM. So we see last of the bands here, Yone being the third ban, and then Seraphine. So the exact same bands here from Stevens. I don't remember if Yone was banned.
Yone was the second rotation ban. I have no idea what they left up. I don't think Gwen is available, as fun as it would be to see her. Viego's still globally banned as well. Maybe Gwen is available. Has it been a week?
Uh,
I don't think it's been a
I
week yet.
couldn't tell you. It's been what, 5 days?
Yeah, I don't think it's been
Has
long
she
enough.
been out for longer than that?
No.
I feel like she has. I feel like she's been out. I don't know. Who knows? Diana is
yeah.
the selection. And then Morgana being hovered as the counter, assumedly going into the jungle. That's sort of the flavor of the month place for her. But Skarner, just going to be a selection instead. Skarner feels like, on paper, it should be a pretty good matchup into Diana. But in the last game, we didn't see Skarner and Diana interact more than once. So,
Yeah.
not really. It didn't feel like Stevens really played to getting that favorable interaction.
Yeah, Stevens, though, this feels like the two champions that worked well for them in game number 1. I don't mind them going back to that. I would like to see a couple of changes later on in the draft, but I don't hate that they're running it back. We'll see if our team wants to continue that trend.
Yeah, Tristana I felt like was pretty good, and then potentially Camille pick here. I think Camille makes a lot of sense. It's the safer of the top laners to actually end up blind picking. And we'll see if Stevens Antigua decides to take the other side of that matchup. The Jax should be favored in the matchup, so it wouldn't be the worst pick in the world if Antigua plays it. See, I mean, I'm hyping it up. They might not even pick top here. They might pick, one of the other. Lulu, that was the champion that was banned and left open. Lulu, very good with hyper carries. Tristana does a pretty good job of hyper carrying, especially when you have a Lulu behind you. So, pretty strong pick, though the bot lane decidedly less aggressive this time around without the Leona.
Yeah, it does feel like a stronger team comp pick, though. Like you mentioned, buffs up the Tristana, but it's super good against the divers. It's going to be really difficult to play Camille or Diana when you can just get turned into a squirrel for a little bit, and then you're very sad.
Yeah, not a whole lot of fun there. Makes it very difficult to actually get onto and stay onto Tristana. Especially if you have to fight past a Skarner potentially. It's just a lot of safety so far from the side of Stevens. See the other bands coming through. Galio and Ari, assumedly both aimed at Firelight. Deciding he was a little bit too strong that last time around. That Ari definitely did get to be a very big problem once that mid-game hit. So taking that away, I think makes a lot of sense. We'll see. I'd assume that we'd see a top lane pick here, since the top laner for our team's already been shown. I think Volibear would make a lot of sense. Very strong in the early game, can be very much a lane bully. Has a lot of tankiness. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, not a bad matchup into Camille by any means. It's a skill matchup early, which is all you can ask for. And now RTM will have to blind pick mid, which No Ari available, no Galio either. So we'll see
I'd
what
assume
Firelight
we'd
wants to
see
play.
something long range. Maybe Vel'Koz, Xerath. Um, Sort of what I would expect to see out of Firelight. It can sort of combo well with the dive of Camille and Diana. You can back them up without having to actually be there to dive in. Corki, a potential as well, gives you a lot of scaling. A little bit of poke. Zed would be spicy. I'd be surprised to see it though. Oh, and Veigar.
Yeah, Veigar kind of it fits the mold that you were saying, the long range, but he also brings the big AoE crowd control that should help prevent Skarner from and Volibear from running at you. So that's a really nice tool that they have now.
Um, Definitely potential.
Oh,
It would.
all right.
That is actually locked in. Okay. So very physical damage heavy on the side of Stevens. Zed should be Veigar in lane. It's a very scary lane for Veigar to exist in, at least in the early to mid game, especially since Zed nowadays has a very low cooldown on his ultimate and power spikes very hard on Justice Serrated Dirk. So definitely has the potential to very much snowball this game with this matchup, but definitely something to keep an eye on. I think it's really interesting that you select something like the Lulu to buff up the Tristana. You're sort of saying, hey, we want to play a hyper carry focus, but it doesn't feel like Zed really fits into that.
Yeah, also kind of
Similarly,
interesting. The Lulu who buffs ability damage with her shield also kind of doesn't get that target to buff up. But yeah, if you were here for Zed or bed, you don't have to go to bed, so that's kind of neat.
definitely feels pretty good. Um, the other thing I think was interesting is the ROTM with the Jinx, with the Nami, with the Veigar, that corner of the composition very much looks to be a protect the Jinx composition. You're trying to create space for her and just let her auto freely and be the majority of your damage. But the other part, Diana and Camille, feels kind of off theme. Especially Diana, it feels very much more about diving. And I suppose, you technically are creating space like that, but it does feel a little bit different in terms of what each of them want to do. Diana wants fast, bursty team fights, whereas the rest of the comp doesn't as much, it feels like.
I mean, there's something to be said for just grabbing a quick clearing jungler who does a lot of damage. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But I mean, if you wanted a quick clearing jungler that does a lot of damage but fits more into the protect the hyper carry team composition,
Then
I
you're
think
the Morgana.
Hecarim
Yeah.
would have made a lot of sense. Potentially Morgana. I think it's a little bit scary if Camille's your only front line, but potentially could be really good, especially into Skarner. I know that we sort of first picked Diana. I don't think it's the Diana pick's fault. It just feels like the rest of the comp doesn't make a whole lot of sense with Diana, I think. But
we'll get to see how it all plays out. I did want to give special thanks to Hulk, Bpots, and Vbon for their subscriptions during the stream. I know we haven't streamed in like 2 weeks, so good to see you guys returning.
appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we have buttons, by the way. You can purchase them by talking to me, I guess. I don't have an official. We need like a store or something. You can also get them with your channel points. So take a look at that. Do you want to bet about something this game? What do you want? What do we want to bet about?
I think Zed Veigar is the spicy matchup, or we could always default back to Tendies on Camille in terms of maybe number of kills, number of deaths for Veigar. What do you think? Or we could just do a straight up, who wins.
All right, I've got it. I have to.
What'd we end up with?
All right, tell me who's going to have the higher KDA in game number 2. Is it going to be Firelight or number 2 Ginger?
I like that you set it for 5 minutes. That way, if they die level 1, we can, audible out of it and save our points.
That's a lot of points on Firelight. All right, well,
Does Nami have a Star Guardian skin?
no.
Why doesn't Nami have a Star Guardian skin? I
Um,
feel like she sort of fits the mold.
maybe she will. I think they're doing Star Guardians this year. They said
Don't they do them every year?
no.
It feels like it's an annual thing. Maybe there's just because there's so many of them.
Yeah, I mean you gotta guard the stars. You gotta get a lot of that.
It's very important, right? It has that on lockdown.
All right, well, we successfully spawned into the game, so that's a solid bonus. On the blue side of the rift, wearing the blue health bars for game number 2. Looking to close out the series is Return to the Middlesticks. And on the top side of the rift, wearing the red health bars, looking to strike back, are the Stevens Institute of Technology Ducks. That's a mouthful. Um,
Yeah, no, that was there's a lot of work getting over that
yeah.
hill there. But both teams, once again, just sort of fanning out here. Uh, Looking at matchups, of course, that mid matchup very much has the potential to snowball in the favor of Stevens. But top lane, another melee matchup where if Camille gets ahead, it can be very scary. But early game, Volibear should have the advantage.
Oh, we're
Ooh,
maybe looking for
fighting
the
over the
3v3
starter
here at
pillar.
level 1. They're looking for Volibear as Antika gets the early chunk, has the shield maybe coming up. Firelight forced to kite back around, uses the Q, getting a couple of extra ability power. That's the big bonus. Both of the bot lanes a little late to the party, but it looks like Haoger and Sour Candy would have been first. And so Loker gets a little chunk, Antika gets a little chunk, and everybody will return to normalcy.
And the big thing is that Firelight starting that lane with an extra 2 ability power could be enough to sort of sway that matchup. The extra damage coming through makes it that much harder for Zed to be able to trade into him in the early game. Uh, both the junglers starting on the bot side once again, so assumedly pathing up towards the top lane, and maybe we'll see a skirmish. Last time around, not a whole lot of actual skirmishing going on at that level 3, but has that potential for it, as both junglers will be on the same side of the map. Bot lane, not pushing for level 2. Doesn't look like either bot lane is particularly interested in going super aggressive. Tristana's still really strong. Lulu brings a little bit less damage than Leona, but still a potential there.
Yeah. We'll see how it all navigates. If you want some more Stevens Institute of Technology facts, I was looking them up. They're in Hoboken, New Jersey, so that's a little unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a city with a great reputation. Um,
I have never heard of Hoboken, New Jersey before.
I
Should
believe
I have?
it's I believe it's known for its crime rate.
Yeah.
Also, apparently for having an Institute of Technology.
And now that you mention it, the trades here in the top lane very much going in favor of Antika in the early game, it seems. Tendi's trying to trade back in, but it's not a very favorable matchup in the early game. And already a complete and total swapping of roles here in the bottom lane, as RTM's the one who pick up the pressure early. Oh?
Yeah, Zap gonna land onto Haoger. He's chunked really low. I don't think they want to force too hard onto this. They're just gonna get some more autos down onto Sour Candy. Very fair. Antika though getting the stun into the damage from that Sky Splitter. Tendi's looking to try to trade back, but the Volibear's a big bully early on, and he's doing the bullying.
Yeah, and he's up quite a bit of CS, already 10 CS in the advantage, and Loker has given up trying to pressure that lane. He says, nope, Tendies, I am not going to try and fight this with you. You're too far behind, and he's going to the bot lane for that crab. And 2 round, is in the area. If Tendies goes a little bit too far forward,
Oh, stunned on the wall with the uh, Thundering Charge, and its first blood as 2-round flashes in and takes down Tendies.
a little bit scary there. Antika did a great job of crashing that wave, so it slow pushes out.
Oh, Panda and
Oh,
Loker are hanging out. They're level 3 and level 4. This is not the cleanest dive, as X-Craze wasn't able to get the crash in. You're looking for that big two-wave crash. Loker's still looking for it. Hits the reset, dashing forward. The heal, though, from Panda. Not going to be enough as the explosive shot takes him down. And Panda's super low. Sour Candy still looking for that little bit of damage. And kind of a yikes dive there.
yeah, no, that was a decision. Tristana still had all of her summoners available. Lulu as well had the polymorph, had everything. So very aggressive play there from Loker means that he ends up falling, and Tristana picks up the kill, so not that great for RTM, though Tristana does miss out on quite a bit of CS there. So, falling behind in that regard. Still isn't super happy about the outcome there, but, with the pickaxe, still doesn't feel that bad.
Yeah,
However, in
Tendy's
this
just
top lane,
getting bullied. The Rolling Thunder coming through. Tendy's finally hits level 5. And,
the
Antika
worst
just
thing
trading back into it. Oh, didn't hit the tactical sweep. That would have felt a little bit better.
the worst thing about dying in that situation earlier for Tendies wasn't dying, but actually just the wave positioning means that he just cannot farm. He's now down 10 CS. There's a massive wave pushing into Volibear, and he just can't crash this. Because if he tries to, Volibear can just trade onto him and try and kill him.
That's a good little quick trade. Gonna take a little damage back from the Thunder through the minion wave. Oh, I don't.
Volibear has to be so close to 6.
Yeah, I don't know that
Yeah,
you
he's
can
about
walk up right now.
70%. If Volibear clears this wave, he is absolutely going to hit 6, but the better choice is to just freeze it outside of your turret, because Camille's recalling. Camille cannot crash this. She's actually going to just get completely starved out of CS for several minutes, TPing back, so maybe we'll try to crash it here, but even now it's not confirmed. This is sort of the worst place for the wave to be. It's very
Oh,
difficult to actually
Panda's
get
only level
Thunder.
3, trying to run away from 2-round. Zap might be able to help her out as Tendy's hits level 6 to counter up in the top lane. Antika has his available. It's a lot of max health that he gets from that
Oh
ability
my
if
god.
he's able to hit it. That chomp, though, just tears through and you get the heal from it. It's a good little spell, but a good tactical sweep at least equalizes it a little bit for Tendy's.
Yeah, there's a lot of help here for Tendies. Firelight has roamed up. He walked over wards, so Stevens is well aware of his presence up here, and he's actually going to
Yeah,
try and.
Firelight throws him into the cage. They force the ultimate out. That might not be the best scenario, but they do get the ultimate, and Zed's still hanging around. They're going to sacrifice this dragon for their play up in topside, though.
That's the big thing is they went up there to protect Camille, make sure that she can crash that wave. The issue is Firelight ended up missing out on 2 waves mid and is now behind in CS as well as 2-round. Taking advantage of and picking up that first dragon means that our team sacrificed quite a bit to sort of bail Tendies out in this matchup.
Yeah, level 6s in the mid lane makes this very dangerous. Is the death mark available for number 2 Ginger? Especially, roaming, not even necessarily just the strict 1v1, although Firelight has exhaust to try to help out with that. He's forced to
Ooh.
flash away as the death mark was invested as well as the ignite, and Firelight's still okay. He'll dash back to that ultimate minion, and Heoger caught a little bit, has to flash away as he was exhausted by Panda. Good trade for X-Craze and Panda in the bottom lane, but Firelight pretty low. Forward throw from number 2 Ginger. He gets exhausted, put into the cage. Firelight still doesn't actually have any mana to really trade this one back, so he'll have to hit a recall here.
Yeah, this matchup is so scary. He ended up roaming top. He loses pressure in that lane, and as soon as he comes back, he just gets ulted by Zed and can't lane anymore. Has to recall. Actually sticking around with very low HP. Gonna try and eat this wave under turret. It's a little bit scary, but doesn't look like Ginger's too interested in trying to punish it. Oh, just kidding. He stuck around. He saw that Firelight had not recalled yet. He stuck around, made sure he couldn't eat that wave. He's going to crash another one in as well. So, again, just so much invested for that roam top a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, Tendy's for his part has re-equalized to CS. You can see his trading patterns improved since he's gotten his Sheen, but has to be careful still as Volibear very dangerous in short trades, and this might be dangerous for the bot lane. Flash away from X-Craze means that he'll be safe, so they do exchange Flash, but the Impale still available for 2 rounds should he want to use it.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary now, especially that wave positioning. Have to walk up just a little bit to actually be able to hit it. Gonna have to chill underneath the turret for a few minutes here and wait for that wave to end up crashing back in.
Ooh,
Meanwhile, in top
big
lane,
chomp though
Tendy's
from Antika. Hits the ultimate through, able to dodge out of it with the Hextech ultimatum, but the flash chomp from Antika is the solo kill for the Volibear.
well played there by Antika, taking advantage of that early
Oh, Firelight in trouble.
lead.
The Predator coming through. He's got nowhere to go. The Deathmark back available for Ginger. Dashes out of some of the shurikens. Loker looking to turn. The flash is still there. He
They
doesn't
look
die.
good
He
way.
just went back to his ult. Yeah, Loker's still looking for 2 round. Has the double dash, has the red buff ticking, but it's not quite going to be enough to turn that one around. And 2 more kills now for Stevens as they're out to a 4-0 lead early.
And Stevens is taking full advantage of their lane matchup so far. They got the counter pick in mid as well as top, so you would expect them to be able to do it, and they certainly are taking full advantage of it. Now, pretty significant CS leads in both solo lanes, and Loker,
Oh,
oh,
Loker's still
trying
looking
to
for it.
trade
A
it
couple
back.
of autos, but a shield here from Sour Candy has the wild growth as well. And that's just too aggressive as Zed is now 2 and 0.
Looking for a little bit too much there, perhaps feeling pressured to try and equalize this, but unfortunately, Sour Candy had the good timing on the robe and was there to just shut that down completely. And now the Diana 0-2-0.
And
Oh,
now Tendy's in trouble as he gets impaled off of the wall. Antika just wailing down some damage on him. They should eventually finish him off, and there's the chomp for the kill. Chomper's buffered away by Heoger. X-Cray still maybe looking for it, but the vision in the bush not doing him any favors. Zap coming through, tidal wave trying to help out as the exhaust finally comes through the bubble. Not quite able to connect there onto Heoger. A couple more autos from Panda looking for Heoger. Gets the shield though, and they'll kite away.
oh, the bounce. Aw, it's a little bit hoping that the W there from Nami would be able to pick it up. Unfortunately, not quite able to. But the trade went in favor of ROTM mainly because Lulu didn't have the wild growth available. Did end up expending it mid to help out Ginger. So good on RTM to take advantage of that. As we sort of settle back down here for a minute, Antika is proxying this wave. It feels so bad to be a Camille having to walk up to that turret.
I've now
Yeah,
finished my mac and cheese, so that's nice.
there we go.
A big bonus to the game. Um, Yeah, 6-0 for Stevens, and they're looking for more as they're on top of Tendies. It's a 2-level deficit for him. Does he have enough tricks up his sleeve to try to get this one done? It does not look like it as the Omewrecker comes through from Antika, and he's on a killing spree on the Volibear.
And taking full advantage of that early pressure. Able to go in and with the proxy there from Volibear, able to set up the dive as well. So just completely shutting Tendies out of this game. And ooh,
Oh, Heoger low over the wall. Wild Growth comes through onto number 2 Ginger. X-Craze the target of the death mark as they're trying to turn. The damage from Loker is good. Firelight collapses as well. They'll finish off the Zed. It's a good collapse from our team. They get the Dragon. They'll get a little bit more as X-Craze, or Firelight, excuse me, with the double kill on the Vigar. So they find their first 3 kills of the game and their first Dragon as well. RTM at least striking back while losing their top lane tower.
and with the jungler on the top side, Stevens still wanted to uh, contest that dragon. It looked like they were ahead in that fight. Were able to pop the Jinx pretty quickly, but a great ultimate from Loker and a good collapse from Firelight means the our team's able to trade it back, pick up their first kills of the game. They're staring down a 3k gold deficit, and Loker and 2-round are exchanging pleasantries, and I imagine we'll see a dead Diana here.
Yeah, this doesn't go super well for Diana. That's a good bubble, but not gonna quite be enough there.
Yeah, definitely. As looks like quite a few members of Stevens are actually grouping up here in the mid lane. They might be able to take down this turret. Firelight had to reset, so he's still walking back. So not a whole lot of people here to contest it. And Tristana does take turrets very quickly.
Yeah, the turret
Still plates
plates.
alive though.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say turret plates slowing that up a little bit. X-Ray's trying to take this red buff, but 2 round is hanging around. Has his smite available, can just swipe that away from the Jinx. Another turret plate goes the way of Hager and Antika, and Steven's got what they came for. They will give the red buff over to X-Rays though.
Yeah, but losing that mid lane turret, well, not quite losing it, is lost 90% of its HP. Stevens wasn't quite able to finish that off. Uh, but that much damage means that they should be able to pick it up pretty much any time that they want to, just sort of walk up. It's a little bit difficult to walk into the event horizon from Firelight, but feels like they should be able to secure that pretty easily whenever they want to. Top lane, though, Antika's pretty much turned around the roles from last game. Very much ahead, has the pressure.
Yep.
Firelight loses quite a bit of HP there in the mid
Oh,
lane.
Ginger looking for X-Craze. The Flame Chomper's not really helping him
Oh,
out. Trying to
wow.
auto through, and it's not quite going to be enough. Meanwhile, 2 round diving through. They're looking for Firelight. A couple more autos will secure it. He's got the stopwatch underneath the tower. 2 round forced to flash away. Loker hanging around. He's not going to be able to find that engage because he's not taking the aggressive path in. Not really gonna blame him for that one, as they'll lose the mid lane tower in the process. Stevens making the good plays on the map, and they'll get 2 more towers for themselves.
Yeah, playing very aggressively. The 1v2 there from the Zed. He already has the finished Duskblade. He's 4-1 and 0 now. Is very strong, and we saw there was able to pop the Jinx very quickly, even with Panda around to try and help the Jinx out. This one's looking a little bit scary here for ROTM. Stevens very much in control. They have more than a 6k gold lead, and individually across the board, very much ahead. So very much in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah, Firelight just continuing to try to scale up. No completed items on him yet, none on Tendies. That's the big issue facing them, is we highlighted the component to item deficit in game number 1. Well, it's reversed here in game number 2. Antika picks up a Zanya's Hourglass on the Volley Bear.
And Valdbear has AP scaling, and it gives armor, and it lets him stay alive longer in the middle of the enemy team. I don't hate it. It seems fine, probably. Also makes, his bursty trades with the shield stronger, so yeah, I think it's fine. Though it really doesn't matter when you're up an item and a half on your lane opponent, right? Tendies doesn't even have the boots, is still on components for that Trinity Force, and Tika is 2 completed. So feeling pretty bad
Oh,
for Tendies
and
and Firelight.
Firelight in trouble and down. Good trade though from Ginger, as he'll take him down in the 1v1. Antika looking for this. Gotta hit the blast cone. Tendies still may be in trouble. 2 round is very fast on the Skarner. Not quite able to find the crystalline poison.
Crystal lines?
I don't know. Who knows?
I think Captain Flowers would have known.
Yo, we need Captain Flowers in here.
Fracture is what it is.
Yeah, Dragon up, the first Infernal Dragon of the game, and Stevens will be uncontested on it, as Loker just trying to farm out his Krugs, but he's going to get collapsed on by number 2 Ginger. The big Diana versus Zed matchup going the way of Zed so far, because Sour Candy is here. Loker diving back in, still wanting it, hits the Pale Cascade.
Oh,
Couple more autos, another shield though from Sour Candy, and they'll finish it off. Meanwhile, Firelight and Tendies trying to take down Antika in the top lane. Panda just getting caught. As chaotic as game number 1 was in favor of ROTM, it's chaotic the opposite direction, as Stevens just making ROTM fall apart. Antika on a rampage in the top lane. X-Craze looking for this collapse. Tendies over the wall. He's 3 levels down. Doesn't get the heal. The Zanyas
oh
for
no.
Antika might be able to help him turn it around.
The
X-Craze is
kite.
trying to finish the minions off. He's trying to kite back away. The zap not quite going to connect. He
Oh
gets the
no.
big heal off of the chomp, and it's a Bud Light ace for Stevens Esports.
It was so doomed there. This is a big Volibear who is not scared to 1v3 and very much able to, as we saw there. Steven's very far ahead at this point, taking full advantage of it, just taking everything across the map, picking up every single tier 2.
Oh,
The only
Loker
structured.
trying to find something in answer, but Heoger has enough abilities to help him get away.
Speaking of Loker, despite being against a very strong Zed and a Lulu, Loker survived for a really long time in that bot lane skirmish. It looked like he might be able to turn it around there and actually pick up the kill, but wasn't quite able to. It makes me think that if it's a little bit closer, if the Zed wasn't quite so far ahead, Stein is a pretty strong champion, pretty strong champion. Luckily, doesn't walk too far into river there and gets stomped by Stevens, but still got a little bit of vision and is picking up some of these jungle camps. But in the meantime, Ginger's looking for Firelight. Oh, that's a very dead Veigar.
Yep, Tendies teleports and hits the X-Tech ultimatum. They might be able to turn this one back at least. It's a shutdown for Tendies, and he dies to the Ignite. A double kill for number 2 Ginger. The Zed's showing up.
Is that a little, just a tiny bit strong this game? Just the tiniest bit. Though shutdown going on to Tendies, 750 gold in his pocket. Um, you say that you got 750 gold, but we take a peek at Antika's inventory. Just completed the Thorn Mail as well. Just is so strong this game. And Stevens, even with a member dead, is just starting up the Baron. And our team has a couple members in the area. Loker might be able to look for a steal, but Antika's looking for him. He's going to be able to find him on the side. And
Yeah, Antika just gonna body block him away. 2,000 health left on the Baron. Loker is in. In comes the tidal wave. Loker here. Not quite able to find it though. It's a good smite from 2 round. It was a 50-50 in the end, but he's able to secure it. Not quite a
that
50-50.
Baron
He's
was
got a
at
level advantage, but yeah.
that Baron was at 30 HP for way too long. There is 5 members in the pit, and at the end of the day, Skarner is able to pick that up. So a little bit scary there for a second, but Looker wasn't quite able to steal that. Oh no, Ginger on the hunt again. Well done there by Firelight to not end up face checking him, but it's a very scary Zed. Very scary.
Yeah, so we're looking for a siege and a potential game ending for Stevens here as they'll slowly group up. Um, what are you looking for game number 3 for our team?
Um,
Oh, well, they're gonna
oh,
get a pick on the
sour
sour
candy?
candy. Oh no, Panda.
Oh,
Oh.
you hate to see it. That's all right. Panda does have the lowest amount of deaths on the side of RTM, so is going to be the big carry this time around, getting the gold on. Very close to completing the mythic though, so the little bit of gold, not the worst place in the world if it means an item completion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it'll be the Moonstone. It did get nerfed pretty significantly, but should still
Uh,
be the item of choice.
Mandate's still pretty good on Nami. You can put your orbs on someone, and the slow ends up double procking the Imperial
Yeah,
Mandate, but
Antika
already.
just jumping in, trying to 1v5. Actually, a little bit worse for wear. They're going to impale Tendies. That's a interesting pose that he's got as he jumps through onto the Tristana. It just doesn't matter. Loker gets buster shotted out. X-Cray's frontlining, unfortunately, on Jinx. Antika has regained his entire health bar and is now teleporting back in. No ultimate available to turn off the tower, but he's looking for blood. Dives forward with that Sky Splitter. The Crystallize coming through, and they'll finish that one off. X-Craze falls 21-5 for Stevens here in game number 2. And yeah, I don't think that Panda, Loker, and Firelight can hold, but we'll see if they can find that miracle fight.
Oh
The
no, Antika
flanking
walked all the way
Volibear from
around.
behind. He walked all the way around the Nexus, the Wild Growth keeping him alive. Loker falls on the Nexus steps. Antika hits the Zanya's Hourglass just for that BM. The Q does get that's 6 ability power for Firelight. It's not going to matter. Game number 2 goes to Stevens Esports. They'll level up this series 1-1 and send us to an ace match. Um, that was a pretty dominating game. We'll see if RTM can turn it around.
Yeah, definitely. They're taking their sweet time getting ready for this game, huh?
Yeah, they do be using all of their available 15 minutes.
I'm gonna go fill my water then. I'll be right back.
Well, I don't know if Aikido made it back, but we're in the draft. Game number 3. Uh, yeah, we mentioned the stakes during game 1. It hasn't gotten any less stakes. It's like I'm trying to think of a pun. I'm really sorry. Yeah. These are the same band so far. Oh, I forgot to, I don't know who voted their points, but those... No one voted for, Mr. Number 2 Ginger, so all of those lovely channel points just go into the ether. Which is super weird, but you know.
Oh, damn, they started?
Yeah, they actually started. How weird is that?
Pog. Okay. So we're in the pick ban. I like that our team took red side because I think that Steven's big thing last game was the double counter pick. They took full advantage of and did a great job of sort of snowballing that into pretty major leads. So I think our team with the R3 and the R5 picks hopefully are able to get a bit more favorable matchups.
Yeah, 2-round headed right back to his Skarner. He has had some pretty good performances on it in both games, and X-Cray's not deterred from the Jinx, willing to go ahead and throw that down against the Skarner once again.
Yeah, and we'll see if Loker decides to reprise his role on the Diana for the third time. Oh, it's actually
He
banned.
can't.
Never
It's
mind.
banned. Yeah. So is the
Savage.
volley bear from last game.
Is that why he's hovering a Mumu? Is because he's sad that Diana was banned?
Yeah, either that or he wants to play a Mumu. But it's going to be the Ahri lock-in for Firelight, which, you know, I have no issue with. He had a really good game on it in game number 1. We'll see if he can capture that performance once again.
Yeah, definitely very strong champion in his hands, as we saw in that first game. But picking it this early means that we don't have the counter pick available there. So we'll see what our team decides to use it on. Ezreal going to be the lock-in for the side of Stevens. A little bit of safety this time around, though the Tristana had been pretty good. I don't know if they necessarily needed to make a change, but Ezreal, pretty safe.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to not have the Tristana this game. But we'll see how this all goes. I'm really interested in this pick, and it's the Seraphine that has been banned the last couple of games by them, notably, so not allowing it to go into the hands of Panda or Firelight, and instead likely going to be the Ezreal Seraphine bottom lane.
Zero Seraphine, or it could be Ginger. Going from the Zed to the Seraphine, they're very kindred champions. I think that makes a lot of sense to go from that to that. But Nami going to be the lock-in again. Panda feeling pretty good on it. Has had some really good bubbles. Has been playing pretty well. So don't hate to see it again. And of course it goes pretty well at Jinx. So I think it's a pretty good selection there. And the Camille actually banned from the side of ROTM is very interesting. That's one of Tendy's champions. So perhaps anticipating that Jax would be banned maybe, and they wouldn't get the chance to counterpick Camille. Just feels a little bit weird, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of Tendy's champions that are not available for this game, so I'm very curious what he'll default to. We're looking for a jungler, potentially right now. They know the jungle matchup.
You know who's open?
Udyr's open.
The Bear Man is indeed very open, and still pretty strong. So definitely a viable selection here. See if Loker decides to go with that or something else. Sejuani? Yeah. Pretty pretty safe. You're never going to be a bad selection usually. So
yeah, something that he seems to prefer quite a bit. We've seen Loker on the Sejuani a couple of times now, even though it's not like the most meta pick. Hayoger taking his time to decide what Antico wants to play, and it's gonna be Urgot, it looks like.
And every time we see Urgot, it feels like he just becomes an unstoppable killing machine in the mid game, and it just seems to always be the case whenever we're casting games. So definitely something to keep an eye out, because Urgot can be pretty strong in the early game, is ranged of course, so can bully a little bit, but also spikes really hard. Be very difficult to kill. And the Orianna sort of securing that Seraphine in the bottom lane, right?
Yeah, definitely does. I mean, you could have the Orianna support. The Aatrox, the classic Aatrox Urgot matchup up in the top lane. Bringing it back to last season.
Favored? It doesn't.
My understanding was that it was an even matchup last whenever those two champions were popular together. Like those were V2 for a while, and that was basically a skill matchup. I think Urgot has come out a little bit better through the nerfs and buffs than Aatrox has, but it's probably still playable both ends.
That makes sense. I just imagine that, if you try to Q1 on Aatrox, you just sort of get dashed in on by Urgot, and I can't imagine that's very fun. But
yeah, but then you like auto Q2 you can turn it back around. Yeah.
Okay.
And your Q range is about the same as the auto range that he wants to hang out in, so it's like, yeah, it's not terrible for either side, but it's not like the best matchup, I would say, for Aatrox. It is kind of interesting, especially with the Jax up, that I think is traditionally a little bit stronger of a counter into Urgot, but
is that a favorable matchup?
Yeah, you can just dash in with your counter strike up, get through all the shotgun knees don't do any damage to you while you're counter striking.
Yeah.
But okay. You can't farm, so maybe not.
Farming's overrated. I mean, who needs it?
This is the big bronze analysis that you're getting. I knew the one Camille mechanic, so now I'm done for the rest of the season.
That's okay. I'm looking up real quick to see Urgot matchups to see, at least numbers wise, how Aatrox is in on it. He's not on the first page of either the best or worst matchups. It seems to be pretty even. Yeah. So you were spot on there.
Damn. Oh. I'm coming for that analysis. And oh my god, I'm way too tired for this. I'm coming for that analyst role.
That's right. If you want it, I want you to know I have complete total faith in you. I think you'll do a great job. Are we doing a gamble for this game?
No one wanted to gamble last game, so I'm not gonna bother.
Oh, Sag. Okay.
We,
Yeah,
we
did my points just kind of go into the ether?
yeah, we sent 4,000 points into the ether.
You hate to see it. Nobody thought this would happen. Oh.
You know, sometimes you just take those channel points, put them into a cannon, and you just send them away.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be kind of cool if it was just like evenly divided. I mean, that doesn't. No, never mind. I was gonna say if it was evenly divided amongst just the non-chat members, but then that like there's no incentive to picking, and if you just put in your 10 channel points, you get it evenly divided amongst you. So basically, it's on everybody else for not voting at all. Like just
And I
chip in
feel
the
like
10, you know.
if nobody's taking the bet on the other side, then whoever put up the points should just get them back.
Yeah, I maybe should have just canceled, but you know.
No, it's okay. You have to punish us for believing.
How dare you believe in my boy Firelight? But he's back on his Ari this game. Into the Orianna, which is a pretty favorable matchup for Ari, considering number 2 Ginger got to pick that counter matchup. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Oriana's still pretty safe. Skills really well, team fights really well. So I don't think that. I'd be surprised if it gets overly abused. It's generally just a pretty safe champion.
Well, I think it's doomed. You
Yeah.
you picked Orianna in the current year. Imagine
Would
picking
you
the
would you gamble
safest,
on it?
most boring mid laner. I cannot because I own the channel and it doesn't let me.
Sag. I mean, at least it's not Azir Corki, right?
Oh yeah, Corky is your Corky.
The pinnacle of mid lane gameplay.
Honestly, I'm more tired of Orianna than Corky Azir, if I'm being honest. Like right now, that can change very quickly, but yeah,
Hmm. I mean,
no,
Oriana's been a mainstay in the meta for 9 years.
yeah,
Um,
basically since release in season 2, yeah.
did she come out in
Uh,
season 2?
yeah. So when she came out, people thought that she was actually kind of trash, and didn't
Uh-huh.
play her for the longest time. And I think it was like season 3 when she caught on.
I think people realize you have to hit people with your Q then, and that's how she does damage. There's a learning curve there.
No,
Um,
it's really weird the champions that like were popular on release versus like super unpopular on release. Like, uh, Xin Zhao is just the most broken champion on release. Zyra was probably worse than that. And now where's
mhm.
Zyra? Like a really
Now she gets picked
niche
sometimes.
support. Really niche.
I think that the Zyra players are committed Zyra players. It feels like that's usually how they're described. It's weird to me that the Skarner pillars don't show up on the spectator
They
until
do
they're
once
playing.
somebody captures them for the first time for some reason.
Hmm.
I, yeah, I had noticed that it was like two
You
weeks
know
ago when we casted, and then they haven't fixed it because why would
how
they fix a
nuts
spectator bug?
is that though? The number 2 Ginger got the ward kill, so he has the XP advantage. He's gonna hit level 2 on that first wave, so perhaps being enough to turn around what otherwise might be not a favorable matchup.
Yeah,
Uh,
the big level 2 Orianna power spike, I think, is what we need to watch right now.
we'll see. She'll have Q and W, and then
Oh
she'll
my
just
god.
chase your ass down the lane. That's usually the early Orianna trading pattern. As opposed to here in top lane, Antika getting it looked pretty good, but Aatrox pressed his buttons and traded back the damage, so pretty even at the end of the day.
Yeah, thanks Rexalis for the host. I don't know why that sound is like 90 times louder than every other sound that I've set up, but boy, thank you. Yeah, welcome to the viewers from Rexalis. We're watching some UML action. Game number 3 as these two teams are tied up at 1, uh, fighting basically for, the number 1 overall seed for Stevens potentially playoff lives for ROTM. So pretty high stakes. And We saw a really fun game in game number 1 and a really boring game in game number 2. Not just to be biased, it was just actually kind of boring.
That feels a little biased. There were more kills in game number 2, so I
I
feel like there is a lot going on.
Yeah, maybe. Loker's here looking for the level 3 gank in top lane. Trying to get in on Tika. Has the slow up, the flash forward for the Q3. Tendy's still looking for it. They have the red buff ticking him down, and it's first blood for Tendy's in the top lane. And we've seen first blood in the top lane all 3 games so far, and it's gone the way of the team that got first blood, so it's pretty much over. Panda had to flash in the bottom lane, though, as she was taken very low by Hayoger and Sour Candy.
Yeah, there's a lot of poke, a lot of setup here from the bot lane. Ezreal and Seraphine are very difficult to lane into, not a whole lot of fun.
Oh,
As
that minion
X-Craze
just
is
walked into the
trading.
ray of the zap, and that's going to cost him dearly as Hayoger goes forward. Snare going to land, and Panda falls. Hexcraze flashes away at the last second, and he's going to try to soak this wave under tower, but that's pretty greedy of him, I think, as Sour Candy and Hayoger just shoving in. They've had a really dominant couple of lanes here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, definitely. And Loker back in the top lane again, has the Phase Rush proc, is getting the stun off. Ooh,
Ooh, the knockup from Tendy's as he's got the Darkened Blade. Got Q3, one more auto, and Tendy's is 2-0 now on the Aatrox.
really great flash there from Loker to cancel the dash from Urgot, make him not go quite as far. So we see the trade here in the mid lane. Firelight end up charming up a minion, so Ginger comes out quite a bit on top. A little bit more healthy, but Loker already deciding that top lane is the place to be. Top lane's where they want the advantage. It worked well for them game 1. Game 2, when they fell behind up there, it did not go particularly well, so
Yeah,
we'll see if that
Loker's
trend
gonna find
continues.
2-round, taking away his jungle. Well, maybe he won't find him. Okay, now finally hits that assist ping.
Yeah,
Firelight headed to collapse. They're
he's
looking for.
Firelight's I don't know how this is.
Oh,
They
the
got stronger
flash
flash.
charm. Yeah, he's got a little bit of damage, but it didn't really work out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Ari's I don't think there's any chance of them ever actually killing Skarner there, so getting his flash felt like enough.
Yeah,
Oh,
X-Craze.
Hayoger,
Oh, Hayoger, the Ignite ticking him down. One more auto, not quite going to finish him off, and X-Craze steps a little too far forward. Hayoger takes him down. He's got 2 kills now on the Ezreal. Loker looking for it. Panda hits uh, the Tidecaller's Blessing, looking for it. Loker dashing forward, hits the flail, and it's a shutdown going to Panda.
yeah, being able to trade that kill back is pretty good, but at this point, Hayoger got 2 kills, is up quite a bit of CS, so X-Craves is very far behind. We saw this in game number 1 as well, where Stevens was able to get a pretty significant lead in the bottom lane early. That time it was turned around by a good teleport from the top lane. So we'll see if Tendies is able to take his lead down to the bottom lane once again to bail them out. Because right now, it's getting a little bit scary. You know, Sheen plus tier to a call. You know,
Yeah,
not exactly where you want to be.
and Tika just holding steady, able to dodge out of some of those Darkened Blades, but level 6 for Tendies, and he'll end his world. The killing spree for Tendies too in the top lane.
Yeah, the wave was just pushed so far up, and Tika wasn't really allowed to contest it, but ended up walking up and ends up getting punished for it. Sour Candy, the roam to mid, not going to be able to find too much. Just sort of back Firelight up a little bit, but Firelight down 12 CS in this matchup. Having a little bit of trouble so far hitting those minions good.
Yeah, it was that level 2 spike you mentioned, I think, really coming to fruition for number 2 Ginger. It's the number 2 power spike, you know.
Absolutely. Who's Tendy's off of those kills is now looking at an 18 CS lead, so very far ahead.
Yeah, the Rift Herald started, actually not started up because it hasn't spawned yet, and RTM just hanging around in that pit. Good bubble gonna
Ooh.
land onto Hayoger. They're trying to turn this damage back around. X-Craze just eating a couple of autos though from Sour Candy. Big Q over the top from the Seraphine, and we'll have to see if that sustain from Panda can help negate some of this poke. Although now 2-round headed into that bottom lane, has Impale available. He's got a pretty big CS lead as well on Loker, who prioritized getting Tendies ahead, and we'll see if, that's enough.
And Tendy's I did pick up that solo kill, so it was doing pretty well with that lead, but there's a dive being set up down here. Loker might be in the position to counter it.
Yeah, teleport coming in from Tendy's. X-Craze is low. Impale invested. Haoger actually takes a tower shot. They'll get that one. Rampage for Tendy's as X-Craze is still alive. They'll be able to take down 2-round as well as X-Craze picks up that kill. And somehow the Jinx lives through that dive.
Jinx typing there. Ends up missing on a couple of CS there, but being able to be saved. Oh,
Oh,
the
he was
rocket.
looking for the rocket. Oh, that was
Oh,
actually kind of close. I don't know what intel he had to fire that one on, but you know.
he was doing the soul read there. That's why he missed the minions. He was really trying to figure out exactly where the Seraphine was at. Not quite able to pick it up, but a great teleport in from Tendies as well as the Loker being in the right place, right time, are able to turn that aggressive play around. That's pretty massive. The spot lane was looking very scary, so much like in game one, our team doing a good job of getting a lead on the other side of the map and then transitioning into that bottom lane. That said, it did mean the Antica could even up the CS, and off of the reset here from the bottom lane, it looks like Stevens started up the Dragon. Not going to be able to secure that one as Loker takes a peek in and lets them know that they're not allowed to be there.
Yeah, Firelight sending that charm over the wall, making sure that Ginger can't step up, and RTM looks like they're going to secure that Dragon Ginger. Nice sidestep on that Darkened Blade, even getting the Phase Rush proc to help zoom away. And Loker will finish off that Dragon now. So, number one in their pocket at 9 minutes. Not the fastest Dragon stacking that we've seen this series by far, but it'll feel nice to get that one on the board.
Yeah, definitely. Start the snowballing, start the scaling of those dragons is always good. Oh, Loker's behind Oriana, but Ginger. Oh.
Was that the prediction, or did he just straight miss? Loker's going to take that kill. I'm going to pretend like it was prediction, and we'll say that was a great play by Loker.
He whiffed it, and Oriana flashed straight into it. Ginger saw the Sejuani, instantly flashes away, and unfortunately just mouse on the wrong spot, eats the Sejuani ultimate. And well played there by Loker, though, getting that kill back, which is very big because Ginger was up quite a bit of CS, was very far ahead. So any sort of a kill to sort of slow that snowball down is pretty massive.
Yeah, a lot of damage coming out of Sour Candy. I guess not that much. I thought X-Craze was much less healthy than he is.
So I know that it's going to sound like a meme, but Sejuani ult is actually hard to hit. There's something with the animation, the speed that it comes out, that it's deceptively difficult to hit. So I don't think we can flame Loki for missing it.
Yeah, no, and you can do weird stuff with it with the Q, and it even throws off your hitbox a little bit. Like, yeah, I understand. Will the average viewer judge it? Maybe.
Absolutely.
They flame the hell out of X Smithy, but like he's a pro player that's played to do that, so I guess he doesn't really anymore. Is he even on an academy team right now?
Is he still on Immortals?
Oh, I guess he is on Immortals.
Ooh.
Is he? I don't know.
I don't watch Academy.
Is Immortals even like a team?
Do they have an Academy team? Is Immortals in the LCS? Does anyone know?
Has anyone seen them in the past couple of months? Because I haven't. I mean, I've seen their Toyota logo on their jerseys, but I can't see anything else on it to indicate who they are. So I'm pretty sure that's just Team Toyota. Immortals is in LCS. Okay, confirmed. X-Smithy isn't on any team right now.
On Sedge.
That's kind of weird.
Was he playing WoW? That was his thing, right? Oh no, he was a Fortnite gamer, wasn't he? Didn't he play just like shitloads of Fortnite and people flamed him for it? Before Fortnite, he was playing a lot of PUBG. This is the
return gank from Loker. That one was intentionally hit. The charm from Firelight secures that kill. That was nicely done by Loker. No flame whatsoever. That was a good hit ult.
Yeah, you see the one single ping go down on that Wraith camp. Yes, indeed. The Sejuani came over that wall and a really good max range ultimate to secure that second kill there in the mid lane.
Yeah,
Ooh.
2 rounds still looking for it in the bottom lane. X-Craze and Panda holding fast underneath that tower. Dragon gonna spawn here in a minute and a half, and they'll get vision over that pit area. But I guess 2 round picked up the Rift Herald at some point. X-Craze getting a lot of damage down. The slow's coming out.
Oh,
Death Rocket. Oh, the heal was just enough for Heoger, but he takes a zap as he walks forward. Couple more autos, and X-Craze finishes him off, but Sour Candy is somehow just behind everybody. Panda dashes through the Encore. X-Craze is left to die, but Panda should be able to get out. You know, sometimes you have to sacrifice the AD carry for yourself, and that's just a conscious choice.
Sour Candy somehow missed both of the enemy bot laners with that ult. Panda just sort of walking straight through the Seraphine, dodging out on it. Uh, in a 1-for-1, despite the jungler being down
Oh,
there,
they're
it's pretty
looking for
good
the
for
dive on
RTM.
Antika. The Q2 hits from Tendy's. Loker now tanking up the tower. They're going to get the stuns. In comes the Fear Beyond Death. He's looking to turn that one back around. The Fear onto Tendy's. He has to kite back away. Q2 in and the auto. So they do trade it back in the top lane. Tendy's just scares all those minions. That's always the weirdest. I don't know why that's part of the ultimate, but, you know.
That's because he's so intimidating.
Well,
If
I
you
get that,
saw
but,
that
like,
big man that's like 30 times taller than you kill your friend who's 30 times taller than you would also be afraid, I think.
it's fair, but, like, at the same time, there's got to be a power budget there for the Fear.
Uh-huh.
And that could
Well,
go towards
Darius ult
something
does
that's
it
like
too, right?
actually useful. Yeah, Darius ult the Urgot ult does as well.
Yeah, they're heckin' scary,
Is
man.
there
I
like
don't.
a utility to that? Heoger going forward. The shockwave flashed away by Panda. Heoger hits the True Shot Barrage, and they'll finish off one over the wall. It's traded back, though, by X-Crazy's. Headed for the hills, and the zoom from the phase rush isn't quite enough. Now teleport coming in as the ultimate lands onto 2 round. They're looking for anybody that they can get onto. Loker just going to force number 2 Ginger to be an alcove gamer. He'll flash forward and finishes off X-Craze, but Tendy's finishes him off with the auto attack. He's dominating, and our team comes out just a little bit ahead on this trade, and they'll be able to take the dragon.
Yeah, it's a big prize. Unfortunately, X-Ray's got a little bit greedy with his pathing, wanted to help out with securing the Orianna, and Ginger's able to take advantage of that and trade the kill back. So it ends up going even in kills, but our team very much ahead right now, 4.5k in their favor, as well as the 2 dragons. Definitely a stark contrast to game number 1, where it felt like they couldn't get anything done. This time around, very strong in the top lane, doing pretty well in the mid lane and jungle. Loker has just been so effective. Everywhere he goes, he's picking up advantages for his
Oh,
team.
I was going to say, Heoger does not want to interrupt Tendy's. That's not a fight that he
Tendies
comes
might
out
have
looking
4
well for.
levels on him, you
Yeah.
know, like maybe. It's, he's got a Seraphine in his back pocket, but it's still kind of scary, man. I don't know.
Yeah, Rift Herald dropped in mid lane. Firelight and Loker going to be able to stop Shelly in her tracks. No turret plate money going the way of Stevens, and won't even get that charge in for that turret health. They are going
Uh-oh.
to collapse on
Panda's being
Panda, though.
collapsed.
Yeah. Oh, just
Oh,
dodges out of the E, hits the tidal wave, and she's out of there. Oh, she's out of...
oh.
No.
That's a fast Skarner, able to track her down. She had the, the fancy feet, able to dodge out on the Urgot dash, but unfortunately ends up getting chased down there, and it's a kill going in favor of Stevens, doing a good job of trying to get back into this game. Picks are very much one of their few possibilities for getting back in, because right now it's looking a little bit scary. They're pretty far behind. You, of course, always have the team fighting power of the Orianna, of the Seraphine. So, there's potential there, as well as the pick opportunities off the back of Skarner. But in a straight up fight, it feels like it's going to be very difficult for them to contend. Tendy's
Yeah,
playing
Tendy's still
very
looking
far
for it.
up.
Oh,
Oh?
not quite the timing there on the Infernal Chains. Nami into the Urgot ultimate. That's sashimi, right?
I suppose so. That sounds about right.
That is what it's called, right? When you just cut up some fish.
Um,
Now I'm
yeah,
questioning
that sounds right.
my own knowledge.
That sounds right.
It's not sushi because it's not like a meal. It's not prepped at that point. It's not in a roll, so it's just
Uh-huh.
sashimi. That might be
I
right.
want
It
you to
might be
know that
wrong.
it's
Firelight
definitely
is right, though. He is over the wall and gets the kill with the Everfrost damage. Heoger in trouble, herded back underneath his tower by some big,
oh
thick boys. Loker not quite able to connect on that ultimate, but now 2-round maybe going to follow him. They'll impale Tendies into the turret. The Super Mega Death Rocket comes through, and Tendies getting some healing back up. Heoger gets charmed. The Shockwave just actually pulls him a little bit closer. Tendies is godlike, not quite able to find that center, but the Infernal Chains will secure a second kill. The Aatrox is huge, 8-0-2. They'll grab the mid lane tower as well from X-Craze and Panda pushing, and RTM has a pretty significant gold lead here in game number 3.
yeah, doing a really good job this time around. They got the counter pick and taking full advantage of it, as well as the jungle pressure, just making sure that they're able to get that lead in the top lane, and doing a really good job of taking that everywhere else around the map and just snowballing this lead. Now up 6.5k gold. Are very strong at this point. 7.5k, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah, 7. Math is difficult. Um, there's a reason I don't get paid to math, right?
yeah. Um, I unfortunately do, and it still doesn't work out all the time. So that's a thing.
Unlucky. That's right. As we sort of slow down here, uh, next few minutes, we have a dragon coming up here in just a hair over a minute. That's going to be a third one for our team if they're able to secure it first for Stevens if they are. So definitely a possible point of contention. Baron spawning in just under a minute, so that could be a pretty big point of pressure as well as Stevens is
That was kind of weird. They had some pings on Stevens on the Rift Herald, and instead they're choosing to go away from that. And they're looking for Antika in the bottom lane. Not quite able to find him with the flail. The Q does connect, but of course Urgot E has priority over everything in the game for some reason. The bubble lands on Nami right after the teleport. Tidal Wave coming through just to sweep on through, but Stevens is able to react. The Rift Herald does go into the pocket of 2-round. They get the teleport from number 2 Ginger, but not much else gained out of that. They'll get some pressure toward this dragon area. 20 seconds to go on that spawn.
that's okay. RTM subscribing to the School of LS, deciding the second Rift Herald isn't worth anything. Fuck it. Let's go play around the dragon, try and get a pick instead. And this dragon spawning, they're very much in control. Just take a peek at that map. Just so much vision in the red side jungle here. Uh, RTM should be able to secure this one and put us on soul point here in 5 minutes for that mountain soul.
Yeah,
And mountain soul is pretty good with Sejuani, huh? Pretty good.
yeah, not too bad. I think Aatrox will be pretty happy about it as well. I mean, really, what champion wouldn't be happy with the shield? But 2-round. Flashing forward, they'll hit the Shockwave. Firelight in trouble, gets stunned up. His Magi stacks always still alive. The root from the Everfrost, they'll turn that one back around. The True Shot Barrage isn't quite enough. The bubble doesn't quite connect. Neither does the Sejuani ultimate. Antika low, but staying healthy thanks to Sour Candy. I don't know why we're watching him exactly. Zap gonna land the flash forward for the charm from
Cool.
Firelight, and Panda takes the kill, but the fear beyond death with the snipe onto Firelight. Antika gets knocked up. Tendi's still pretty healthy, looking maybe for this redive with Loker and X-Craze, but they're happy with the tower for the time being. Now stepping forward, tower taken down, Loker's in the mix, looking for Heoger, gets the stun down onto him, and Tendi's takes him down. He's legendary, flashes forward for the Q2. They'll finish off a third kill, and they're going to just leave Tendi's separated by the turret. Can he actually get out now, saving Private Tendi's? The damage isn't quite there from Sour Candy, and he'll escape.
Yeah, I thought for a second it was Mikhail's, but no, it's actually his QSS that ends up going down. They're cleansing the slow, perhaps, just barely able to get out alive there. And RTM very firmly ahead, even when Stevens are the ones trying to look for the pick. Firelight somehow able to just barely get out of that alive until, the fateful snipe from Antika able to finally bring him down, take away his stacks, but survived quite a bit longer than you would have expected him to, I think.
Yeah, from 11 to 1 stack, RIP, the Soul Stealer.
Yeah. But next objective on the map, likely to be the Baron buff, as both teams off reset should be pushing in there, trying to get some vision down. Sour Candy, you see, already there, trying to get a little bit of vision control.
In
Looks
a
like not gonna be punished for it.
in a bigger sense, do you like sour candy? Not the player, the like actual candy. Or do you like Sour Patch Kid? Well, never mind. Firelight dodges out of the Fear Beyond Death, hits the charm into the snare. They're trying to turn this damage back around. He's actually still got another dash. He'll go forward, and X-Craze finishes him off with the SMD rocket. So, um, the attempted pick turns into a counter pick for ROTM, and they'll be able to start up this Baron.
You know, with the
So, like,
numbers advantage, no jungler alive, they should be able to just secure that for free.
you a
Oh,
Sour Patch Kid gamer?
Tendies is about to get collapsed on, and then we can talk about it.
All right. Well, he's got a lot of shields, got a lot of healing. Gets pulled in with the shockwave and shut down by Oriana.
Sour candy's fine. Um, like I don't mind sour candy. I'll sometimes get sour candy, but I think when I was really young, like 6 or 7, I got sour gummies, um, like the really sour ones, and I think I got sick or something. Not from the candy, just I was sick at the same time I had the candy. And now anytime that I smell like the super sour stuff, I just get a little nauseous. But in general, I don't have anything, in particular against sour candy. Sour worms are always good.
I don't think I'll ever willingly like go after sour candy. Like when I'd get some for like Halloween or whatever, that'd be fine. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'll never like willingly go for sour candy.
I don't think anyone's ever bought like warheads before in their life, but somehow everyone ends up with warheads at some point, right? Um,
I know a lot of people who really like Sour Patch Kids. Like that's apparently just a thing. Nice happy
ooh,
feet though from Heoger, able to sidestep both the charm and the Everfrost damage. So he'll stay alive in the mid lane.
I'm not sure I've ever had Sour Patch Kids. I'm sure I've had things that taste similar to them.
Yeah.
A lot of sour candy sound or taste very similar, but I couldn't tell you what they taste like.
Oh no, Sheila. All right. Well, both Rift Heralds resulted in a net 25 gold to Stevens. So that's kind of unfortunate for the investment that they put in.
I
Because you
hate
get
to
50
see
for
it.
killing it, right? And you get 25 for counter killing it. So yeah.
That sounds correct. Dragon spawning shortly though, 25 seconds, and Stevens has the face check.
Ooh,
Oh,
that charm not quite going to land 2 round. Maybe seeing his moment. Going to break that frost armor on Sejuani. And X-Grays is split bottom right now. Needs to group up with the rest of the squad. Tendies is also not grouping, but he's got teleport, so I'm not as worried about him. Now the battle line's being set across this Dragon Zap, going to land onto Antika. Big tidal wave coming through. They'll eliminate Sour Candy from the back of the fight. Firelight finishes another kill. Tendies is teleported in. Good ultimate there, and the fight just falls apart for Stevens. It's a double kill for X-Craze, and they'll be able to finish off Ginger on the back end of that. The Bud Light ace for ROTM, 25-9, and they'll run it down mid lane.
yeah, they have a wave, so they should be able to finish this one off. 25 seconds on anyone important, so they have quite a bit of time here. Jinx should be killing these turrets pretty quickly, but it looks like they're actually splitting up, not going for the end, just going for the value, the guaranteed turrets and inhibitors. So playing it a little bit safe here. Uh, but if that were someone to stick around and just kill the dragon, but
Yeah.
maybe they're
Oh,
ending anyway.
well, they'll separate those death timers as Sour Candy falls again. 2 round goes in, gets the impale down onto Loker. Takes him low underneath the tower. This might not quite enough as X-Craze walks forward. The Stridebreaker lands onto him for the slow, and RTM forced back out. Now they can grab the dragon at their leisure.
And it feels like if they had just stuck together in that mid lane, they should have been able to take it down. But going for the more safe option is probably better. Able to just pick up the soul, able to pick up the double inhibitor, and feel pretty
Oh,
good, and maybe pick up 2 round as well as he mistakenly thinks he's allowed to walk into his jungle, just going to be taken down there by the soul laners of ROTM.
yeah, just the casual 381 damage crit on the fully armor tank.
As you do.
Yeah, from Aatrox. Oh, I don't understand why that does that. Tendies healing back up though, trying to 1v3, finds Sour Candy, gets the heal down, but Heoger is doing too much damage and he'll fall in the process.
He didn't even like auto him, he's just running.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, Tendy's in the 1v3 scenario, able to turn a kill back, so yeah, that's something. Yeah, no, that Seraphine ult's a little. It's like ROTM, or not ROTM, Riot ended up making the champion, and they're like, oh shit, this is basically Sona, but we want this champion to actually get played unlike Sona. What if we just made her ult twice as wide and infinitely long? That's
So
sort of what they did.
it gains range when it hits allies as well. I didn't realize it was allies as well. I thought it was only
Yeah,
enemies.
no,
So it was
allies
very
and enemies.
surprising that it just like continued. Um,
The amount of times you play with X-Craze, he's playing Seraphine, he's like, alright, somebody stand in front of me so I can ult them. And so,
Ooh, that charm not quite gonna find Heoger. X-Craze just frontlining on the Jinx. No fear right now.
would you call him Matson
I would
with
not
no fear?
because that's another player. The plat team actually scrimmed against them the other night.
Oh,
In
really?
fact, so Matson's still playing League, still doing well, I guess.
Good
Big
for them.
summary. Uh, Char
Meantime, RTM pressuring here in the bot lane. They have Tendy's mid split pushing, and Oriana's actually stuck top
Oh,
lane
the
trying to
Sejuani
clear up
ult gonna
that wave.
land onto Heoger. Somehow snipes out the Ezreal in the middle of that, but not quite able to find the damage. The Impale from Firelight, or onto Firelight, not gonna matter. Double kill for X-Craze as they're continuing to look in. That Jinx is in melee range of an Urgot right now, though, so that's not really gonna work out. Tendies will finish this one off. The stopwatch from number 2 Ginger just gonna secure his demise, and it's another ace for ROTM. Game number 3 to ROTM, series to ROTM. They'll improve to 2-2 on the season.
Yeah, definitely. Really good comeback after a rough game, too, this time around, prioritizing that early lead as well as the counter pick there in the top lane. Doing a really good job of building a lead, taking around the map, and ending the game.
Yeah. So do you think the biggest difference between games 1 and 3 and game 2 was the counter picks in the solo lanes?
I think counter pick was pretty massive, and then I think Loker being able to get Tendy's a lead in the early game was pretty big as well. You know, especially if it's an even matchup, being able to get a little bit of a lead. You know, Tendy's he'll take a little bit and turn it into a mile, right? So uh, definitely a pretty good job there by RTM.
Yeah. So no other results in yet. So we're going in blind into next week. But Return of the Middlesticks 2-2. A win next week means that they'll 100% be in playoffs. There's no doubt about that. They play against Naperville North Varsity, who's another 1-2 team right now. They're currently battling against Lightless Void, so tough matchup for them. We'll see how they do.
Naperville North
Yeah,
apparently is a high school in Illinois.
that could be true.
I was just looking it up because I've never heard of Naperville.
Neither have I. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us tonight. Tomorrow night, though, we're gonna have a Flex Q cast followed by the My Little PogChamp versus You Are Poopy quarterfinal. I can't do that. Oh my god. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night at 6 for those games, so you won't want to miss that, or at least I will. I'm gonna beg Aikedo. We'll see if he shows up. Um, but yeah, so we'll see you tomorrow night on the channel, and yeah, have a good night, everybody. Congratulations again to the squad taking home the big dub. Who are we gonna raid?
Is Upsurge streaming?
Yeah, Upsurge has 119 viewers right now. Jesus.
Oh, hit him with the raid.
Yeah. All right, let's go watch Upsurge. It's gonna be another UML game, I'm pretty sure.